Hello, Dubai. My name is Lir Cotler, and I am so honored to be part of this magnificent project with Dubai Festival City Mall, Al Futtaim, and the one and only voice of Dubai, the brilliant Ahmad Haffar.
Good afternoon, this is Manjusha Radhakrishnan. I'm the entertainment editor of Gulf News. Today we have Mr. Ahmed. You know him as Voice of Dubai. You've heard his voice. This is what he looks like. He looks like a regular bloke, but I have to say that he's a genius. And how do I know that? He'll tell you.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure
to be here, and I'll turn on the voice for everybody watching. I sound like this into Dubai Opera, Dubai Expo 2020, حياكم, and everywhere in between. And then باللغة العربية مرحبا وكيفكن. So it's a bit different, but nice to meet you.
So I didn't recognize him honestly when I saw you, but I love the dual personality that you have. It is so interesting. How do you, who is the real you?
The real me is the one who makes music. I've been making music for brands for the past 11 years. And I have a pretty sizable portfolio in the entire Middle East and beyond. And that's really what I do day in, day out. Mm-hmm. And there's a business side of me as well, the one that is the owner of Mind Loop Studios, the production house in UAE, one of the biggest audio production houses in the country. And the guy who opened the school, that's another side of me. As a school dropout who opened his own school teaching voiceover with
brilliant.
5 teachers and a full-time therapist who studies their personality and character, I came up with the idea of On the Field Academy, and I am the founder of the company. So there's a business me, there's a musician me who came up with the music for Insurance Market, who has just finalized the music for Festival City, who's done the music for Rixos Hotels, who's done the music for Barakat,
yes,
for Brands for Less, and literally countless others. Well, not countless, 100 others to be exact. He factual.
I love that. I love that. You have actually counted how many brands you work with.
114 official music brands, 2 documentary sound design, sound effects, and scoring. Basic scoring, so we would take the music online and then add some touches to it musically, and then voice, well over 150 brands. Before the governmental entitlement with the Dubai Government Media Office, I've done InstaShop, shops you love, deliver better. So like that's also me.
Yes.
And a lot of voices I used to do that were advertising as well.
Right.
Today, of course, I'm known for announcement voices, which I do with the Dubai government exclusively, and that's what I do. So very grateful for all of the opportunities I've had. Tremendously honored, but the musician in me.
That's the true you.
The one.
Yeah, and what is fascinating about you is also the musician. He's done a leap, I would say, to Hollywood. He'll tell you more about it, but he's collaborated with one of the best in Hollywood. In fact, let's talk about, it's something to do with Hans Zimmer. And if you've been to the concert recently, I mean, he was spectacular. Like I could feel goosebumps, and I knew that we were a part of something really incredible. The entire auditorium feeling one with the music. I think it was an incredible night for you, and it led to something really special, right?
It sparked something in my head. So the story is very beautiful, and it's a story that can start and end with a tear in your eye, hopefully in a good way. It started out by composing the official sonic branding or audio branding. So what I do is called sonic branding. It's that 4-second signature that gets stuck in your head, and then I do longer versions. That's what I'm very known for in the Middle East. During this process, I discovered that the fountain show, called the Imagine Show, is one of the biggest in the world. A world record holding thingy. There's the whole Guinness World Record happening there as well, and they proudly put it on the wall, and it's beautiful. And when I saw that show, I'm like, do you have your own signature theme song or score for this fountain show? Because there's like 30 to 40 water hoses, there's a fire, there's lights. It's mind-blowing. So I'm like, do you have a score for this? They're like, we use music and all of that, but like an official theme song for that? No. And I'm like, let's do it. So when I made their melody, which is now, if you go to any Festival City malls, last 4 seconds on any of the videos, you hear, so that is the signature melody. So I had already released that, it went live, yada yada. Now we're talking about it, very grateful. And I'm like, how do I turn that into a score? So during that process, it was very challenging because I'm so used to composing music for brands or being a branding expert. It wasn't like I don't score music. I create tools that get stuck in people's heads. Insurance market بطيء. So
It's more about the recall
yes,
value.
it's more about the recall, the brand values, the positioning. It's a very professional thing. I want to grow as well. So why not think about scoring, Ahmad? That's what I told myself. And I remember I had a very, very good friend of mine. Let's call him Narino.
Okay.
For anonymity.
Okay, got it.
I was talking to him about like this is a challenge. This fountain song is a challenge, very different.
Yes.
So I did 3 iterations. The first one failed, and it really was a kickback because I'm used to so many yeses, and there's a no, and I'm like
It got rejected. Rejection hurts.
But it helped so much because that gave birth to the second iteration, which also failed, but with nice comments. We're almost there, is what I heard. It was Thursday. I finished work I work like 17 hours a day on average. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs say that, but I actually do. And if you don't believe me, just look here.
No, we believe you. Yeah.
So it was a Thursday. I had finished work around 8
Yeah.
p.m. And I just started thinking about the song. I'm like, I really need to get started on this soon. I need to just get it out there. And I don't recall what happened. I remember I spoke to my mom and I just told her that this is a challenge. I'm a bit worried. I'm all over the place and all of that. And then she's just like, remember the kid who survived the car accident and got out of that bed after a month-long coma and spent a year in the hospital recovering, who came to Dubai? And his music became one of the most known, if not the most known music in the region. You know that's my son. You know the kid who millions know his voice? That's my son. What's stopping you? Legitimately, word by word. She's like, what's stopping you? Like, wallah, mama, you're right. And then my brother Hissam as well is like, just get it done. Stop thinking. Just get it done. So I sat down. It was around 11 p.m. and I said, okay, let me start with a draft or something. I was on at 8 in the morning. Totaling 2 minutes and 45 seconds, 254 musical layers, more than 100 sound design and sound effects mixed into it, and tied around the entirety of the ta-na-na-na melody, encompassing 6 chapters. It begins with an Arabic vibe, continues to Asian, from Asian to Chinese and Japanese, and then from there back to Arabian, and then from Arabian international all the way to classical, like Mr. Hans Zimmer. So the piece blew my mind, and it was the first piece in my career that every single person, from friend to close friend to clients to the client themselves and everywhere in between, said phenomenal. Not a single other word. Legitimately, if I were to encompass it, phenomenal. That's what it was.
Oh, I love it.
And I knew it. Even my team and Mindloop were proud. My brother was proud. Everybody was proud. It wasn't a good job moment. It was a pride moment. So I went with my same good friend who I just mentioned to the Hans Zimmer show in Coca-Cola Arena, because of course I wasn't going to miss that. And I'm sitting there and I know a lot of his scores. So one of them I just happened to see, which is the movie Dune.
Oh, of course.
So I've seen Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2.
Of course.
And just 2 weeks before the show, I saw Dune Part 2, so it was still very fresh in my head. So when the vocalist, Lir Cotler, gave the cry of a banshee, as Mr. Hans said.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, what?
Yes, I remember that moment.
So I looked at my friend, my best friend, and I'm like,
It was
I want
epic.
her in my song.
You did.
I want her in my song. I want her to sing on the score for Imagine Show. And I put it out in the universe. Fast forward the month, less actually, I'm on a Zoom call with Lir, who turned out to be one of the sweetest, kindest, most talented, most humble people on the planet. And immediately, I had a new friend. She loved the idea, and we decided to partner up on it. She went ahead and she emotionally and spiritually heard my piece time after time after time and started layering everything from A to Z. We don't know how. The same way I don't know how I made it, she doesn't know how she came up with the ideas she came up with. But it was incredible. I got the files went ahead and I had two of my friends join me while I'm mixing the file. Literally over 400 layers, because her layers were 87 layers of vocals. Mine were around 300 something with the sound design and 254 musical instruments and layers. So I spent around 6.5 hours mixing the piece together, just mixing the whole ingredients together.
And making a cohesive piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was done. My name was on the same building I envisioned myself to be in. Loire spoke to Dubai.
Yes.
And she will hopefully be coming back to Dubai.
Yes.
You'll see us together very soon.
Okay.
And then the event was a major success. As someone who started out from Lebanon, who came to Dubai, who made a mark in Dubai, expanded from Dubai to the entirety of the Middle East, musically and artistically, and now the first artist, unless you can prove me wrong, to collaborate with a Hollywood artist, not a Hollywood artist to call me, but the other way around, in this part of the world, makes me feel like I am finally ready for the next chapter of my career.
That's impressive. I love the fact that you love to reinvent, and music is not an easy industry to crack. Like you said, there's a glut of musicians, right? The West, you're competing with the West.
Yes.
You're competing with other countries in general. Why do you think you are different, or what do you bring to the table?
Thank you so much. That's actually a great question. First of all, my personal music taste is incredible, and it's defined by my best friend Ahmad, who passed away in my car accident back when I was 17 and a half in 2012, who, when I was 16, sat me down and introduced me to very weird electronic music that sounds nothing like the music that people know from clubs or nightclubs, but rather the Mozarts of electronic music in terms of complexity and melodic complexity. I believe that played a very big role in my childhood, mixed with the fact that I didn't learn music.
Yes.
I have the ability to feel constantly and to create constantly. Absolute and utter dedication and practice, constant dedication, constant practice really put me on another level. But then when you mix that with someone who understands branding, who understands positioning, who understands sales on a natural level. So I'll make it very simple for everybody. My mom's the businesswoman in the family. She had a business. She is very well thought of in all of her ideas. She focuses on everything like that. So I got that from her. My dad's a poet. So he's an artist, and he's singing music since I was 7 years old. So when you combine both of these genetics with someone who believes in himself, I believe I differentiated myself from the entire region. Now today, all I need is my portfolio to sell.
Right.
But to get to that portfolio, or to have gotten to that portfolio, was the toughest journey in my life. I'm not just a musician. I'm a person who knows how to give a brand a tool to make money, to get exposure, top of mind, and everywhere in between. Of course, I'm not the only person doing it, but in this part of the world, I'm absolutely the best.
Right.
So
no, I believe you. No, but in terms of musician, you said you're not self-taught. You seem to be taking a lot of pride in not being in being self-taught and not being schooled by an establishment or set values. You said you don't have role models. Is that true?
I have one role model.
Do we know who that is?
He's a weird electronic musician who reinvented music as a whole.
Okay, so it's somebody obscure?
Yeah.
So so it's so interesting that you don't like to follow the grain. Basically, that's your whole thing.
He taught me that.
He's like you don't. Is that the only way to survive, you think? Because we live in a world of AI where everything can be done. Even like on a click of a button, things can be produced.
Composition can exist.
Yes, exactly. And it's
is it human?
That is true, but there is now, all of them, ABBA and everybody have signed a petition on using their composition as a training ground, right?
Yes.
So we are living in that era where AI could do your job. Aren't you worried as a musician as well, as a person who's trying to make it now, let's say, and you believe that you have a strong chance? Where do you see yourself? Like,
I see myself potentially collaborating with AI, especially on a sonic branding front or music for brands front. But what people don't understand is that I don't do jingles. AI can do jingles very, very well, but that's not what I do. I create a 4-second melody that encompasses the entirety of the brand. You know how hard that is? Because if you give me 2-minute piece or 1-minute piece, it's not that hard. You know, here we are, we're talking about this, we've got this product and that too. come on by and look at the thing. And now it's time to buy. Done. Just came up with that. What you're talking is custom made, bespoke, tailor made after a singular artist who is a branding expert at the same time, not just a composer, but a branding expert and a sales-oriented mindset to position the brand within the Middle East to tens of millions of ears to remember this melody, giving a message that the brand cannot give visually.
Right, got it. Yeah,
That's what I
it's
do.
the power of sound. Yeah,
The power of sound.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, and that's what I've done over 100 brands of. Of course, there are people who say, I've done this in 2009 in Saudi, I've done this, I've done that, but a lot of them are jingle oriented.
you're
know
not.
what I mean?
Yeah, you've gone beyond. Yeah, you've gone beyond that.
Insurance market is jingle oriented.
Yeah.
But I did that on purpose. People say, oh, the insurance market one is annoying. I know. That's why I wanted to do. So thank you for confirming I did a great job.
Tell me all about collaborating with Laura, though. What was it like? I mean, she sounds like the fact that she got cherry-picked by Hans Zimmer, I think that's her CV, right? I mean, you don't need
She's done more. No,
She's done more. Yeah,
She's
but
done so much more.
She's
actually lived in India for a very long time. She's practiced the incredible techniques that she innovated on. She is a healer. Loire utilizes sound and so much more to heal. She is a global citizen with a heart of gold. And talking to her every single time I get a chance and a privilege, we were just talking a few days ago, and what happens is we're very similar character-wise. So if I would call her, it's guaranteed to be a 3-hour conversation.
Okay.
We just don't stop.
Right.
We just don't stop. And then I've got my stories, she's got her stories, because she's worked with global artists. She's Hollywood, right? So she has a lot of stories, and they're very, very inspiring for me.
Yes.
Because for me, where I am today is fate. And she convinced me of that because of her story, and she's reached that because of fate. So what I would say is that she has the ability to see beyond. These things inspire to aspire, meaning I want to make sure that the people who get to know are the right people, and it helps them discover more about them,
Right.
and how it is beyond possible for them to do what they want to do in this life artistically. Yes, we're all battling, and so did Loire. Loire has been through a lot to get to where she got, but it's all the amazing people who have helped her, and she has helped herself to deliver. Simple, get excited as an artist. If you're an artist, get excited about all the people you don't know. Get excited about all the things you haven't done. And keep in mind one important quote, and I came up with these quotes because I believe in them. All it takes is 5 minutes with the right person. 5 minutes with the right person. Do not think of mass exposure. Think of targeted, strategic exposure.
It is so interesting. You need to tell me, like, how you have there's an amalgamation of all kinds of sounds. There's India, there's China, there's Arabic sounds as well. Did you want it to reflect Dubai in some way? Because when I heard it, I thought even the sounds were multicultural. It's a potpourri, right?
Not only was I representing Dubai and the work that I do for the Dubai government, and I have done, including, for example, the music of Dubai Police. People don't know that I'm behind that. I am. And I also have voiced Dubai Police. مع Dubai Police القنصة الأولى. So
I love it. I love how you just cut to it.
It's an honor.
Yes.
It's a genuine honor. But not only was I representing Dubai in this piece, what I was doing is that I'm reminding people how multicultural Dubai truly is. And for a Hollywood level piece to launch from here is a statement that belongs here. So it started from Dubai, and it will spread to the rest of the world. From Dubai to the world. And me and Loire called the song that we made Song of Life, because it contains almost every aspect of life. I did not know I would be where I am today. Having met certain people in my life, one of them now being Loire, is an utter confirmation as one can have to the power of the future and the power of the unknown. That's why every time I make a piece, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yet somehow, a lot of them are quite famous. And today, this physical piece you can see with the water and the lights, is the perfect exercise I needed to really kick off. And the founder of Mind Loop, Ahmad Haffar, who I owe so much to, my maestro, the man who made me who I am professionally and as a businessman. He allowed me to have a key to my very first business and to learn how to run a business. And to him, I'm infinitely grateful. From that, I sustained to be where I am today, where my vantage point is about to completely.
Right. I love it. How are you going to go conquer the world? Like, do you have a blueprint in mind? Because I feel everything you've done with a plan in your head, what's next for you? Like, how do we tackle, because it looks like a big world, right? It's an unknown world. Sitting in Dubai, trying to be a part of another, like Priyanka Chopra Jonas, for instance, had to move her base from Mumbai to LA to be relevant. I know DJs, in fact, my colleague's husband, who lived in LA to get the DJ gigs. So he worked with the top talents there, but he had to move. Have you thought of that? Or what, do you have to be there to make it as well? I mean, is geography important?
Yes, absolutely. When you are given 15 minutes to sit next to a director to pitch yourself to be the composer of his movie, you gotta be 10 minutes away at any given moment of any given day. Now, with Zoom, with online, whatever, we'll find out. Look, it's a world that I don't understand, that I am making friends in.
Right.
And I'll tell you one thing that I'm now discovering, and I hope this interview becomes relevant later on in my career, but don't use people, because they know. All the important people, they know. They see you a mile away. I believe I got to where I got because I've led the life of authenticity. And if anybody can see authenticity or lacks the day-to-day inspiration of authenticity, it's Hollywood. So I'm pure, I'm clean. And I hope that I remain exactly so. I believe that life can only become one when you understand its value. I believe that life is something that needs to be cherished at any given day, in any given moment. Let's go even lower. The point of life is to understand that, ladies and gentlemen, it happens once. So please enjoy the show.
On that very deep baritone voice, we'll remember to seize life, as you call it, carpe diem, which you have done. Every day you have seized it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And no, thank you for having and sharing your life story, which is incredible.